Am I on? Now I am. Yay! Good morning, everyone. Well, we missed last Friday when I was going to wish you Happy New Year, but I'll have to do it today. Happy New Year, and I'm glad you're here. We have a wonderful lineup for Friday morning coffees, and I encourage everyone, including those still in their jammies at home, to come. You may not be familiar with the topic or the speaker, but let your curiosity take hold. Today is a day that we have a 2-for-1, and we want to introduce you to my Sisters Place. Angie Brooks is here, originally from Stone Mountain, so she's nearby, and a very proud graduate of Florida State University. She is the development coordinator at my Sisters Place. She cherishes the opportunity to connect with community members who are passionate about our mission to restore hope for women and children experiencing homelessness. She was previously Director of Volunteer Services at Northwest Arkansas Children's Shelter. Now, I mentioned Arkansas because it'll pop up on my phone with an Arkansas phone number, and I think, who do I know in Arkansas? And now I know, but schmoot. Okay. We are so happy she's here. And the big bonus is Jennifer Barrow, the executive director of My Sisters Place in Gainesville. And again, let me emphasize, this serves women and children experiencing homelessness. Jennifer has diverse work experience in nonprofit service organizations and social services in the areas of homelessness, child welfare, and mental health. She holds a bachelor's degree in social services and a master's degree in leadership, both from Belhaven University. Please welcome them to LVE this morning.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Mary Bob Fox and Ann Dittman. Ann Dittman is on our board, but thank you so much to everyone for inviting us and allowing us to be part of your morning this morning. How many of you have heard about My Sisters Place before, by show of hands?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're hoping that you might learn something new today, something you may not have heard before. As Mary Bob Fox said, I'm Jennifer Barrow. I'm the executive director for My Sisters Place. I've been there for almost 4 years. Angie is our development coordinator. Marketing and fundraising is her expertise, along with a lot of other things. We are nonprofit, kind of dive into everything. But Angie has been with us a little over a year, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she's our dynamite, fabulous star on our team. So we're so glad to have her here. And again, thank you for the invitation. We are going to start out by showing you a video. The video does go into a lot of detail about what we do, but after that we'll go into some more detail so you can learn more about what we do and what the impacts are that we're making with our women and children. We are a women and children's shelter in Gainesville, and we're glad to serve our community. So let's show the video and we'll go from there.
Yes, just to give you a little backstory. So the video is about a resident and her son who were with us many years ago. He's grown now, so when you see him, at first in the video, you're going to see a grown man, but he was 9, I think, when he was at the shelter, so you get to really see kind of the long-term impact of what we're doing.
In my mind as a kid, I'm like, oh, we're going to somewhere, we're going to another house, not that we're homeless. It was kind of fuzzy, but I do remember the first day of 5th grade, so the night leading up to that, we slept in our car in a McDonald's parking lot, and I remember getting dressed for school in the McDonald's bathroom.
My youngest daughter has a chronic illness, and I was missing a lot of work. I lost my job. Eventually, I was depending 100% on child support, and that stopped. Her dad lost his job. My son was at a school that we loved. He had struggled with school, and I just knew God wanted me to keep him in the school. We had food stamps, but you can't cook in a car. And you can't buy cooked food with food stamps. We brushed our teeth, washed ourselves in the McDonald's bathroom. I cushioned the kids in the back, and they just kind of laid in there any way that they could.
People have a general conception of those experiencing homelessness being the ones that are on the street corners panhandling. There's also a stereotype that those experiencing homelessness are drug addicts or have some type of significant mental illness. That's really not your typical person that is homeless. They're the waitresses that are waiting on you at the restaurant you're going to. They're the medical receptionist checking you in at the doctor's appointment. It's really anywhere. My Sisters Place is a homeless shelter. We serve single women and women with children who are experiencing homelessness. We work with our women to help them get back on their feet. So we are a place where they can come and rest their heads at night and not have to worry about where they're gonna sleep, and just have all of their essential needs met.
We hope to restore hope in the women that come to us through case management, assistance with transportation. We have nightly devotions. We like to spread the word and the love of God. We just want to make them whole again. We do an assessment with them where they sit down, they set goals, they work on those goals weekly. Short-term goals, long-term goals.
So it's kind of communal living. So a lot of, we have 6 bedrooms, we have shared bathrooms, a shared kitchen and living room. So, you'll see kids running around, playing. We have a playground for them outside. They have dinner together.
I had slept in my car before. I had done that before, but I'd never lived in a homeless shelter. We all three shared our bedroom, but we had way more room than we had in our car. We had home cooked meals every night. We had devotion every night. Just good stuff, and just visits that we would sit around and just fellowship and laugh and talk, and we shared responsibility for the kitchen and the cooking. And we went to church.
There was a man named Mr. Kim. I'm pretty sure he worked in Ace Hardware. I may just be making that up. Every Wednesday night before we would go to church, he would bring by food. And so sometimes he'd bring by pizza, sometimes he'd bring by chicken, but every Wednesday night he would stop by and bring by food. And I love that because I was a very picky eater growing up. He was a very nice man, and I think about that a lot. I also remember the Christmas we spent there. I got a Nintendo DS. That was the first like gaming thing that I ever had, because growing up I always played my other friends' games. That was really cool to me because it was like, oh yeah, this is mine.
We currently are a 13-bed shelter. We serve about 50 women and children a year. The need in the community is far greater than what we're able to handle here. We have over 500, I think the last number was 564 people that qualify to receive services from My Sisters Place. If space was no limit, we could serve 564 more people year to date.
How do you go to school and not have a place to come home to? Moms want to do everything for their kids, and our moms here are no different. They want them to have a place to study that's quiet, where they have a computer and they can keep up with their classmates. So we do our best to help these kids and these moms. They just need a break. They just need a place to land for a little while until they can get on their feet. They're not looking to stay here long term. They want to live the same life, the same dream that we all have for our kids, and so we're doing our level best to help them get there as quickly as possible.
It just breaks your heart when you have a mother of 5 on the other end saying that she doesn't know where her and her children are going to sleep for the night. And you're full to capacity. And you have to say to that mom, I'm sorry, but we don't have any room.
We're a debt-free ministry. So we want to maximize the space that we have here. And so we're looking at expanding, adding more shelter beds, more shelter space, and also transitional housing units. That will expand, our shelter space will expand from 13 beds to at least 36, potentially 48. Our transitional housing units will go from 3 units to 6.
We don't receive government funding, so we are always grateful for any donations. Food, blankets, just in any way that you can give back. We're always grateful for that.
I have been amazed at people that live in Hall County. They're always asking, how can I help? What can we do? And of course we need funding. We're a 24/7 facility, so having staff here overnight, 7 days a week, there's a lot of operational expenses. We have a boutique. It's called My Sisters Resale Boutique, and it is super cute. So if you shop there, that helps us. Our residents get to shop there, obviously at no charge.
My Sisters Place is accredited by the Evangelical Council on Financial Accountability. So not only are we a debt-free ministry, we also are accountable to an outside agency that evaluates our finances and makes sure that we're operating to a high standard. We have an 89% success rate, meaning that 89% of our ladies that leave the shelter are leaving to permanent housing. We integrate biblical teachings and biblical support into our services with our residents. And so as a person of faith, as a Christian myself, that means a lot to me to really have the opportunities to pour into the women's lives, to really be able to facilitate a loving environment where they may be introduced to God for the first time, or maybe in the experience that they've had in homelessness, they've really kind of felt like God abandoned them. We've actually have residents that have told us that God doesn't love me, doesn't care about me, or I wouldn't be in this place. And so we really have an opportunity to restore hope in their lives, to really show them that, no, God does love you.
Right now, I'm doing pretty good. I am going to be leaving for Spain in about a month for a Fulbright to teach English. I just recently graduated in August with my Master's of Art in Teaching. So I am a licensed teacher of 5 through 12 English and English language arts, and I'm certified to teach English as a second language.
After leaving, there was a lot of perspective about we've come a long way. Since leaving My Sisters Place, I wanted to help people. We were helped in ways that I can't even describe by people, some of which aren't even, with us anymore. They've gone to be with the Lord. And so that has been my passion, has always been to help people in the way that we were helped.
Those 6 months in My Sisters Place, it has become like a dividing point in my life. It's almost like I've been a believer in Christ, a follower of Christ since I was like 13 years old. But I never knew what it meant to truly surrender my life to the Lord, to say, okay, God, whatever you want. It made all the difference for me. And I think my children, I know for sure my children have benefited for the better.
Wasn't that a wonderful story, Dawn and Daniel? Daniel actually works at the hospital in Gainesville as a career. That's where he is working, and he's has a ministry aside from that where he works with troubled youth. So he's really done very well for himself, and we're just grateful to be a part of that journey for him. Dawn is doing well. She's still over in Europe, as far as I know, and doing well. So, is it? It's going automatically. Okay. All right, a little update too on the expansion, because I did touch on it a little bit in the video. We have decided that we will be able to serve more families if we look for another location. So we are currently shopping for a new piece of land. Anne's very much involved in that too on our building and maintenance committee to help us find the property. But we found some stormwater issues on our existing site was going to be a barrier to us being able to expand on site. So that's something we are looking to. So if you're a praying person, if you can keep us in prayer for that, that will be awesome. So we are excited about that journey ahead of us and being able to help more ladies and children in need. Okay, so let me give you just a little bit more detail that may not have been covered in the video. This is what we do. This is our mission statement. Our mission is to restore hope by encouraging faith in Christ, because we are a Christ-centered shelter, developing life skills and providing a haven for women and children experiencing homelessness. And I'll talk a little bit more in a little bit about what those life skills look like. A little of our history. This year we will be celebrating our 25th anniversary, so we're really excited about that. We have a special event coming up in just a couple of weeks. Where Jeff Foxworthy is coming and donating a show for us, and so we'll be celebrating our anniversary there. Where you'll see if you've got your tickets and ready to come, you'll learn a little bit more about our history. But we were founded by Marty Owens. We are one of many nonprofits she has started in the Gainesville community, but she started us in 2000 when she just had heard that there were women in Gainesville, downtown specifically, that were homeless, and she had a finished basement, and she thought, you know what, I have the space, I have the time, I'd really like to help. And so she would go down to the town square, and she would talk to the ladies there, and she'd bring them home with her. She'd give them a hot meal and just give them a word of encouragement, just fellowship with them. And then in the morning she would give them a sack lunch and take them back to the square. And so it wasn't long that one of our friends who was in real estate mentioned to her, hey, I have this house on Davis Street that I'd be more than willing to give to you to start your ministry there if you would like. So that's where we started, is in the Davis, well, we started in Marty's house, but then moved into the home on Davis Street. It was a little 2-bedroom home. That's the home that Dawn and her children were in. And then in 2013, thanks to a grant from the hospital, we were able to purchase and renovate this our current property on Martin Luther King Boulevard. So we are right around the corner from the hospital on Martin Luther King. And that's where we currently are. So the pictures you saw in the video were taken there. So who do we serve? Like I said in the video, it's really anybody that you rub shoulders with every day. Some causes of it are people women that lose their income, whether it be a job loss, reduction in their hours, a death of the breadwinner, or maybe a roommate or the breadwinner left the household. Underemployment. Most of our women that come to the shelter have jobs. They are working. They're just not making enough money. Or they're part-time positions and they need full-time, so they're just not earning enough. With the housing market right now, we've seen a spike in the rent amounts, and so a lot of the landlords can get more for their units than what they used to, and so they are increasing. Some are increasing their rent to a level that's not affordable for our women. Single income household is very difficult. Sometimes where they're staying, they're no longer able to stay, whether it be with a family member, a friend. A lot of times their family members are in rental units themselves, and they can't have additional people in the household unless they're on the lease, so that creates a problem. Sometimes they're self-pay in a hotel and they run out of money. Or they're in a shelter and they've extended their stay. For example, we have a mom who was in Gateway Domestic Violence Shelter. She finished the program there, but she didn't have enough income to make it on her own. So we collaborated with Gateway and moved her into our shelter to give her some more time. There are also times where they have legal issues. You know, sometimes it's drug related, where they finished a drug court program, or need a place to go, or other legal issues will cause them to not have the resources to live on their own. But again, it's people you rub shoulders with every day. You know, it's not what you would typically think is homeless. So how do they find us? 62%, now this is 2023 numbers, I need to update it for 2024 yet, but I expect it'll be very close to the same because it stays pretty steady. But 62% of our residents are self-referred, meaning they go online and they do a search for a homeless shelter and they find us that way, or they know somebody that's heard of us. And so 62% are self-referred. And then 38% are community connections. So this is where we get a referral from another agency. Should it be a church? It could be another nonprofit agency. It could be, and here's a list of different nonprofits that we do get referrals from. For United Way, Nice District Opportunity, Department of Children and Families. Like we have a mom now who is staying with us due to a medical condition that got out of control. She lost custody of her kids when she was in the hospital and had no one to care for her kids. And so we partnered with DFACS, so she had a place to go when she got out of the hospital, and now the kids are reunified with her. So the kids are living in the shelter with her now. So very thankful for that. So that's another agency that we will partner with. And as I mentioned, other shelters we get referrals from. So what happens when they come to the shelter? What happens when they get there? So as mentioned in the video, we do an assessment with them. And basically what that assessment is it's looking at what the barriers are to them being on their own. A very simple, easy one is an example is childcare. Mom can't work if she doesn't have a place for her kids to go. And so one of the barriers would be childcare. And so what we do is we prioritize anything that scores low on that assessment, and we make an action plan on how to overcome those barriers. So for childcare, we would work with the different childcare agencies in the city or wherever it's closest to their place of work, and get or where they want to work, get that childcare set up, apply for a CAP subsidy so they can afford the childcare long term. The CAPS is a state subsidy for childcare. So it allows the fees to come down to an affordable level for mom. And then they're able to work. And so that's an example of what that would look like and how the information on the assessment is used. We call ourselves barrier busters. We're busting through those barriers of self-sufficiency, helping them to get back on their own. We also have transitional housing units. So we have 2 apartments on site, and we have a home that use of it was donated to us that's off site. And so if our ladies need more time, they have steady income coming in, but they need more time to build up a savings and to increase their income further, then they can move into one of our transitional housing units. It's an apartment or that home where they can stay up to a year, continuing to work on their goals and continuing to search for permanent housing. And then the last step, of course, is permanent housing that's secured. All the while that this is going on, there's other things that are going on too. I mean, we have our daily devotions, as mentioned in the video. We also have counseling services set up. So if mom needs some additional support on, homelessness is a trauma. And if they need some help working through that, them or their children, we do have counseling services we'll set up. We have case management where you have somebody that's working with them, making sure that they have what they need in achieving their goals, helping them to make those connections in the community. But the ladies really build a community amongst themselves too. We provide all of their essential needs. All of their meals are provided for. They help themselves and cook their own breakfast and lunch. And dinner, either our staff cooks or they cook if we have a house full now that likes to cook, so they're cooking their own meals. And we also have meals that are donated from generous people in our community. But it's really just a big family and a big house. But it's a great place to be. This is our impact. So these, again, are 2023 numbers. We need to update them for 2024, and I'll share the updates that I have as I go. We typically serve around 50 a year. So in 2023 and 2024, we serve 52 women and children. Last year it was 27 women, 25 kids, so it's about 50-50. Average length of stay in 23 was 99 days. Last year is 106. So they're staying with us just a tad bit longer. Access to permanent housing in 2023, it was 91%. 2024, it came down some to 82%, which is still fantastic, especially given the affordable housing crisis that we're in. The national average is 32%, according to HUD. So we are super stoked to be at 82. So, and permanent housing can look different for everybody. It could be they get their own housing unit. Sometimes they have a family member or a friend that will allow them to stay long-term. So it's any permanent long-term housing. In 2023, we have 86% that maintain or increase their income during their stay with us. Last year's number, it came down a little bit. We're at 70%. But again, it's still, it's still a good number. It's a work in progress. Meals provided for our residents, over 15,000, and that stayed steady for last year as well. So, okay, so Angie's gonna come up and talk about how you can help.
Jennifer was talking about the generous community. I know it's you guys. We are so grateful. I see somebody was telling me, oh, did you get the meal we brought over Thanksgiving? And you guys shop at our boutique, and we are so grateful for your support. A lot of you are coming to our gala that's coming up at the end of this month. So it's nice to get a chance to thank you personally for everything you guys have done for us for many, many years, long before I arrived, certainly. So thank you for that. Oh, this thing has a mind of its own. All right, let's go back. So, like I said, a lot of you already do many of these things with us in partnership. So we'll kind of go through them one by one, but obviously we talked about the support that's needed because we don't get any government funding. We do rely 100% on the community and businesses and your support, so that means so much to us. It really does. I sit at my desk and these checks come across, and it means so much to us to see. And I'll think, I don't know who this is. How did you hear? I'll call. How did you hear about us? How did you know? And I really do mean it, that a huge part of my job that's so gratifying is meeting other people who have an equal passion for the work that we're doing. And I think a lot of people can recognize that it wouldn't take much for me to be in that exact same position. You know what I mean? It would, a hiccup, a death in the family, a job loss, crazy medical bills, you could suddenly find yourself in a very similar situation. So, let's talk about shopping. So we have a really cute boutique. Have you guys been in the boutique? I think a lot of you have, yeah. Our store manager, her name is Debbie. She used to be a visual manager at Macy's. So we have this incredible skill coming out of her. She's so gifted, and it's really, really cute. When you walk in, you don't feel like you're in a thrift store. So, but Jennifer mentioned that our residents shop there at no charge. Other agencies also send their residents to shop there at no charge. So we give away a ton of stuff, and we're glad to do it. That's part of our ministry, is just recognizing a need and meeting it for this community. So volunteers, we need volunteers. So we have volunteers that help us answer the phone. We have volunteers that work in the donation center sorting, because people are always stopping by and dropping off bags of clothes and household items and that sort of thing, and everything has to be sorted and hung up and moved over to the boutique, and that takes a lot of labor. We could not do what we do without the volunteers. So we have something new that I was talking to Miss Levine about. It's called Sisters of Hope. It's a mentoring program that we are launching this year. Let me see if I can find a little information about it. It is a one-on-one mentoring program that seeks to facilitate an intentional relationship for women to grow both spiritually and emotionally. So this is to carry them through once they leave, because people will say, well, what happens? Where do they go and what happens to them? And sometimes we know they stay in touch. That does happen, but sometimes we lose touch with them. And so this is a way of maintaining that relationship over time so that they feel supported and not suddenly going from having all these people around them supporting them to just being alone in their new circumstance. So that's the goal of that program. We're launching it this year. We have a new volunteer coordinator. Her name is Sarah Moulton. You guys will love her. She has a lot of experience in this field, so look for more information on that. If you're interested, just let me know and I'll get you guys connected. Board committee members, Ann Dittman can be your resource for that. You don't necessarily have to join the board. We have committees that you can be a part of without having the commitment of being a board member. So for those of you, a lot of businesses will do little third-party fundraisers, like Pinnacle Bank, I think, did a denim day for us, and everybody had to pay $5 to wear jeans on Friday, that kind of thing. Or a car wash, or we have a volunteer who's putting together a tennis tournament soon. That's going to be fun, where the proceeds come back to support my Sisters Place. So I'm just going to, there we go. Since I have a couple minutes, I'm going to read a thank you note. We had a lady that was with us who she had come out of past addiction, but she was well beyond that. But when that's been your journey, you've very often burned all your bridges, right? Like you don't have anybody you can call anymore. So she came out of that and had nowhere to go. And she stayed with us. She was in our shelter for a while, and then she moved over into our transitional housing unit. And then she found permanent housing. She graduated from the drug court program. She's just an incredible success story. The day that she left this note on our desk. Dear my Sisters Place staff and volunteers, I am writing to express my deepest gratitude for everything you have done for me during my time at the shelter and apartment. Your kindness, compassion, and support have been instrumental in helping me get back on my feet and achieve many goals of finding peace, housing, and everything else. The donations I received, from food and clothing to household items and furniture, have been invaluable in setting up my new place. But more than that, the sense of community and belonging I found among the staff, volunteers, and fellow residents has been a true blessing. You have become like a new family to me, and I will always cherish the memories and friendships I made here. Your tireless efforts to provide a safe and welcoming environment for those in need are truly admirable. You are making a real difference in people's lives, and my family and I are living proof of that. Thank you again for everything. I will never forget the kindness and generosity I experienced at my Sisters Place. With heartfelt appreciation, and we won't T, we'll just say T, initial T. Anyway, beautiful story, happy ending. She moved into a new place, was able to also, her daughter was having some struggles, so her daughter came to live with her and her granddaughter, which again talks about the generational impact that the work we're doing is having. So thank you for your support. Thank you for letting us come here today. I think we're going to open the floor to questions now.
Please wait for the mic. Questions?
One thing that we forgot to mention in there is how long the ladies stay with us. So if that's an unspoken question, I'll answer it for you. Our ladies are usually with us anywhere between 90 days and 6 months. So as long as they're working on their goals and making forward progress, we will not make them leave. I mean, the last thing we want to do is return them to homelessness, but they're usually with us anywhere between 90 days and 6 months. Average length of stay is, again, 106 days, so it varies, but they can stay longer if needed.
You must have some qualifications for admission.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. We, as a faith-based shelter, pray over those decisions that we make, but we do have a pretty tight criteria. Our ladies have to be motivated to get back on their feet. They have to have the ability to work. They don't necessarily have to have a job, but they have to have the ability to get a job and to work to increase their income. They also have to pass a drug test. And we will do random drug tests during their stay. If there's reason for concern, we will do a random drug test. We are also not a domestic violence shelter, so we don't have the safety protocols in place for somebody that is actively fleeing domestic violence. So we will refer those families, those ladies, to Gateway, which is the domestic violence shelter in town. So those are the big ones.
How would you donate furniture? I know you have the boutique for clothing, but how would you go about donating that?
Okay, great question. So Debbie loves household items, dishes, pictures, small furniture pieces like a little chair or table or that sort of thing. But if it gets into larger pieces, we partner with Brown Eyed Girl, and it goes on consignment, and then we get the proceeds again go back to the shelter. So that's wonderful for us. We really appreciate that. And the ladies appreciate it because they shop there when they move out. And they go and get decor and dishes and whatever they need for their new place, bedding, all that. So, yeah, thank you for asking.
So we can donate to Brown Eyed Girls, and then they would give it to you?
It doesn't go to, that might work. I need to find out about that, but I think you have to start with reaching out to Debbie at the boutique and let her have that conversation with Brown Eyed Girl. I think if you go straight to Brown Eyed Girl, it might get confusing.
We also partner with Good Samaritan Ministries for large furniture donations. So if Brown Eyed Girl isn't able to take it, Good Samaritan Ministries is another resource that we use. Any other questions?
I have a comment.
Okay.
Be aware, we do have papers over here, newsletters. Feel free to stop by and pick up one of them for you.
What's over there is a card about our boutique. It'll give you our donation center hours, the hours of the store, all the contact information. They're on John W. Morrow Parkway, near Pearl Nick's, right by the gun store, if you guys know where that is. We're around the corner. We have a new sign, so Jay Kelly from Signs by Tomorrow donated a brand new sign for us, so you should be able to see us a little better now. There's also a newsletter that kind of will tell you more stories, more information about what's been going on, and then a flyer about Project Hope, which is our new monthly giving campaign. So a donation really of any amount on a monthly basis helps Jennifer when she's looking at that budget, like what can we count on as we're making plans for the future. So that's what's back there.
I'm not sure how to even phrase this question. But when you hear or see things that the CEO of XYZ nonprofit makes $3 million a year and only, 97% goes to him or them, and only this goes to... So how is the financial... what is it? I'm not asking what is it you make, but percentage-wise, what actually goes. If I give you $10,000, how much of that $10,000 goes to actual women and their needs versus your salary? And how many salaried people do you have?
Okay. Glad to answer that. The timing of your question is impeccable because yesterday, I broke our budget down for this year by department, so I can give you those percentages. Our program budget is 37% of the whole budget. So program means the shelter, the transitional housing units. That's 37%. The admin cost is 35%. So it's 35% admin. Now let me tell you what admin includes. It includes me, it includes Angie, it includes our volunteer coordinator, it includes an executive assistant. Two of those positions are part-time. As far as salaried position, 4. We are a team of 20. We have 8 people at the boutique, including the manager who is salary. The rest of them are all part-time and volunteers. In the shelter, we have 8 people there as well. The manager, we have 2 full-time staff, and then who are hourly, and then the other 5 are our overnight staff. So they share a shift. They come in at 4 o'clock at night, and they stay through the night and leave in the morning when the daytime staff comes in. So that's 8, and then 4 on the admin team. Did that answer your question?
Do any of your women ever become, do any of the women ever become part of your staff?
Yeah, they work at the boutique. We actually just had one. We've had 2, maybe 3 since in my tenure with my Sisters Place that are not full-time staff, but part-time staff in the boutique. Yeah. But we also have 2 that I can think of offhand, and on the shelter team, maybe more, but I know for sure at least 2 who have experienced homelessness themselves. So they haven't necessarily stayed with us, but they have experienced it themselves.
And sometimes they'll come back and participate in our volunteer program, you know, because they want to give back. Sometimes as soon as they're walking out the door, they're like, what can I do to turn around and give? And we're like, just settle in and build your life, and then they'll come back around. It's really nice.
Yeah, we have 2 that are going to be in our mentoring program, our Sisters of Hope program. Yeah.
You mentioned, I think, that they cook in the homes that they have there. What types of cooking equipment do you need? I've been selling Pampered Chef for over 25 years, and I've got a lot of stuff, as you can imagine. So,
I mean, it's type of equipment. I mean, equipment-wise, we're okay. We have a double oven and we have a stove, a 6-burner stove. But utensils to help prepare things. I'm a Pampered Chef fanatic. Like my mom sold it for a long time, and so every year she's like, Jen, time for a show. So I have a lot of Pampered Chef. It's all about the tools for sure. So yeah, utensils and serving things like that, Pampered Chef type items definitely are things that we could use. We have, like I said, a double oven, the stove, and a microwave. So we have, and a coffee maker. So we have those type of things already. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Does somebody else have their hand?
I did. My question, and maybe it's a little premature, but as you know, I'm really interested in the mentoring program. Can you speak a little bit more about it, or is it too soon to talk about it?
So I was sharing with you earlier, we have a new volunteer coordinator that's coming on board, and so it was kind of in motion, and then we had to tap the brakes a little bit as we're doing in this transition. Our new volunteer coordinator, again, her name is Sarah Moulton. She is writing the curriculum and everything for that as we speak. So you're going to see more, definitely follow us on Facebook, because more stuff will start to come out about this program over time. But really important, one-on-one relationships, again, if you've found yourself in a place in your life where you feel alone, there's nothing like a friend, who's going to stick with you through all the ups and downs. So we're really excited.
Yeah, and I can add a little bit about it. Through the month of February, we'll be doing the training with the mentors, and what that will look like, or we call them sisters, doing training with the sister. What that will look like is kind of like a homelessness 101, understanding the trauma that our ladies experience in homelessness, and how that trauma can drive some behaviors, and being, how to respond to that, being patient and understanding. Also appropriate boundaries to make sure you're not taken advantage of, and make sure that we're empowering the ladies and not enabling. It's a fine line. It can cross really, really quickly when you have a very kind, generous person that wants to help and somebody that's in need. It can cross a line quickly. So it's understanding that. But in understanding the need to build the relationship and building the trust, with our ladies, and what the mentoring program will look like. And we envision that to be, like Angie said, just a relationship where they talk several times throughout the month, meet in person several times throughout the month, just check in and see how they're doing. The mentor is not meant to replace the case manager, because the case manager is the accountability piece to make sure that they're making forward progress, and that they're getting the resources that they need. But the mentor is, hey, let me help you, more coming alongside of them in a less formal way than the case manager. Did that answer your question?
It did, but going along with that, is what I provided you with my email. Is that all I need to do to let you all know I'm very interested in?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to connect you.
Okay.
Hopefully today when I get back to the office,
Thank you.
I'll make sure Sarah has your information and all the information you provided prior. So yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, of course. We love passion. That's awesome.
what percentage of the shop does that supply in your budget?
Not as much as it used to. I will say that, not as much as it used to, and it's primarily, it's a very small percent. We are just above a break even, in all transparency it is, but it serves such a need in our community that, and for our ladies, that it's an important role for us. It's important that we're able to serve the community and our ladies in that way, to meet those needs. I mean, even as simple as, someone in here may even relate to this. We had a gentleman that stopped in, he had lost his wife, and he took everything he had to come and drop his items off, her clothing off to us. And one of our volunteer coordinator, Luann, she noticed that he was struggling, and he just went outside and talked to him, and he told her, you know, that my wife had passed and that these were her belongings. And she just had an opportunity to pray with him and encourage him and just be a little bit of a support to him. As Angie mentioned, there are other nonprofit agencies that send clients to us. We have a form that their staff fills out and brings to the boutique. And so we're able to meet the needs for them. So it is, a little bit more than break even, primarily because we had to increase the salaries to be competitive in the market. You know, and they can go to McDonald's and make $15 an hour. Our little $10 an hour wasn't going to cut it. I mean, our ladies believed in our mission, but they also had bills to pay, and you know, so we had to increase their salaries just to stay somewhat competitive. So that cost us. That cost us a lot. So, and you know, things are just more expensive, you know, to operate across the board. Yeah, electricity and supplies, everything. The cost of everything is up. So we're just not making the money we used to, but. Our board still recognizes, as long as it's not costing the shelter money, and you know, we'll continue to go.
And our ladies, I personally like the idea that they get to shop for what they need instead of digging through a trash bag to see, does any of this fit me? Is it my size? Is it this right season? Does it fit my kids? They can go and shop, and no one knows that that's why they're shopping. They just get sort of a regular shopping experience, and I love that they get the dignity of shopping.
Could you again tell us where is this located?
So it is on John W. Morrow Parkway. It's near Jack's Vacuum. Do you know where that is?
It's across from the high school and Brewster's Ice Cream, if that helps.
There you go. Next door to the gun store. It's kind of hard to see, but the new sign we're hoping is going to help with that.
It's an L-shaped plaza. We're on the short end of the L. So the long end is where Dollar Tree is. We're on the short end on the side.
For the gun store.
Yeah, the gun store is on the corner. Yeah, we're behind it.
Behind the gun store, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
More question.
I just want to say, this is my sister's place.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so cute on you.
So is mine.
There. Isn't it cool?
Debbie has an eye. I'm telling you. It's when I go to drop something off, I have to be like, you know, I didn't come to shop. I just came to drop something off because everything's so cute. You guys will love it.
I will tell you too, we're very picky on what goes into the boutique. So
no
if
rips, stains,
no
tears.
rips, no stains. Yep. Like it has to look nice and be good quality. We do have an outside company that comes in to pick up what we don't select. And they do pay us 10 cents a pound for everything that we give them. And they send that off to third world countries who are in need. So it's going to good use. So everything, unless it's something that really should be in the trash, it's getting used.
This has been an impressive presentation. I just wondered, in your future planning, have you ever considered my brother's place?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
Anything is possible. We are definitely open to wherever God leads, and thank you for that. I appreciate it. We're very proud of our ministry and the work that we're doing. I mean, we're a work in progress, as are most agencies, but we have a great team and
that's going to stick.
Services.
That's going to stick for me. Wow.
Yeah, I just tallied up 2024 numbers. We had 877 calls of women looking for a place to stay last year. And that's 100 people up from the year before. So it is definitely trending up.
Talk about the different agencies. Like, not everybody can take a single woman, or they can take a single woman, but not a single woman with a
Oh,
child.
yeah. Because there are other shelters in town. The need is much greater. I mean, even with all of the shelters that there are, the need is still greater than all of us can really meet. But everybody has different criteria. So good news at noon, they don't take children at all. So single women can go there, but no kids. Family Promise takes no singles, but they take family. Salvation Army takes them all, but it's time limited stay. They can only stay 30 days. So we get a lot of referrals from there. And quite honestly, not that I want to throw Salvation under the bus, because I know that they're experiencing a change in leadership, and I really hope and pray that it changes for them. But we have a lot of women that come to us, they don't feel safe there, primarily because they do have men there too. So they come with safety concerns. And so, so if we explore My Brother's Place, that's definitely something that we would need to look at for sure, is safety.
There you go.
Hey.
Look at you. That's awesome.
Anything's possible.
I know we're running out of time, but I encountered a homeless woman outside of Marshall's, and she was just sitting there, and it was very, very hot. It was in the summer, and it was like 100 degrees out, and she was sitting there, and she was asking for money, and I said to her, I won't give you money, but if you want water, food, I'll go to Publix and I'll bring it back for you. You just stay right where you are and I'll come back with it. And she said, okay, that would be great. So I went in. I'm not doing this to give me kudos, but I went back, and then I said, where are you staying? Mentioned Salvation Army. And she said, but I will not go back there because I didn't feel safe. It was so crowded. And I said, what are you going to do? She said, I don't have a place to go. I don't know where to go. And my heart went out to her. I went over to my Sisters Place boutique, and I called, and it was Christmassy time, and she couldn't get in, of course. There was no way. And so I came back, and I said, I'll come and check on you. And after 2 days, she wasn't there, and I do not know what happened. But that's the sad, sad part about homelessness.
It is.
My heart goes out to them.
Yeah. We that raises something for me to share. We are, unlike Salvation Army, we are not an emergency shelter. So if someone is looking for stay that night, we would refer them to Salvation Army or to Good News at Noon. Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, we do have a wait list of a couple of months. So I know we have an open room right now. And we're looking at September and October call logs to just get somebody in there. September to November time frame. So we're a couple months out. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. This was delightful. I'm so glad you were here. Appreciate you taking the time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. We love Mary Bob Fox. I know you do too.
You all did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.